Returning MDI champions Mandatory are back to take a shot at another trophy. In this video, we're going to take a look at their incredibly impressive plus 21 Motherlode, which paved their way to first place in their group weekend. The dungeon starts off with a bang, with a huge pole gathered immediately beside this building. The skull marker is placed on the addled thug, and damage gets focused into this dangerous and high health mob, while Sigil of Chains and Solar Beam control the casts of the rest. The thug charges out to Mode with its uppercut ability, a very dangerous hit of damage, which Mode answers with a huge Oracle Disc Priest shield, making sure to stay close to the pack so that the charge doesn't take the thug too far away from the other enemies. With the incredible focus damage of the Arcane Mage, the thug is dying faster than the rest of the pack, but not before it unluckily targets Mode again with another uppercut. Mode survives this hit, but with fewer defensives, he's low enough that an unlucky grease gun from a mech jockey kills him. But the group is not in too much danger, as long as they keep the mobs under control while he runs back and commit a few extra defensives. So Mandatory keep the run going instead of opting for a reset, a sign of just how confident they are in this dungeon. After this pull, a lot of teams spend a long time navigating through the enemies to get safely to the first boss room. But Mandatory waste no time and simply charge through before using all of their Shadow Melts to drop combat once they're past all the enemies. Skylark is in a little danger here if he's not too careful, since his last resort triggered on the previous pull, but he's able to avoid getting hit too many times as he makes sure to be the target of the enemies they run past. The big theme of this run in particular, and Mandatory's style in general, is to minimize downtime, so they jump straight into this Azerite Extractor pull, which again features a primary target with high health that the Arcane Mage can focus damage on, while the rest of the group takes care of the smaller enemies. This is a common strategy with Arcane Mage this season: priority damage. Look how much less overall Stove is doing than the AoE specialists of the Unholy DK and the Balance Druid, but how much more damage he's doing to that priority target, which is very valuable for finishing the pull and progressing through the dungeon. Unfortunately, the Earthshapers are also extremely deadly in this area, and a Rock Lance goes interrupted and again claims Mode's life. This time around, they use the Battle Res, which means they'll have to play the next 7 minutes of the dungeon without that safety net. But since it was a healer death, they won't pay a huge price in terms of DPS, and again decide to continue the key instead of resetting. Skylark leaps forward to tag some enemies before getting life gripped back, and Mandatory takes several Sappers, plus a few Earthshapers onto the first boss. The Sappers mostly are only dangerous as they're dying, and a small number of Earthshapers won't tax their interrupts too hard, but any extra coordination on a boss fight can be quite hard to manage. Luckily, Mandatory have perfected the art of tanking the Crowd Pummeler on the edge of his arena, such that all the coins spawn in a nice small area, making it easy to move the boss out for each coin magnet cast, and then back in position, while also forcing the foot bombs to spawn directly under the boss as well. They kick in 5 instantly and then wait until the 6th is about to explode before kicking it in to extend the damage taken debuff on the boss and get maximum value. Up next is another Azerite Extractor and Friends, which Mandatory handled just as before, except without any stray deaths. Splitting up the pulls the way they did helped allow long crowd control, offensive, and defensive cooldowns to recover. Mandatory now need to fight the dangerous Taskmaster Ascari, but they also want some extra enemy forces count, so Mode runs up the hill a bit to get in range of a Sapper that's busy demolishing the mountain above, and casts Dominate Mind to get it under control, and then Leap of Faith to bring it down. He then gets on the other side of the pull before dropping the Dominate Mind effect, as it's going to have aggro on him and require lots of work from Skylark, who's currently being beat up by the nasty bleed from the Taskmaster, so Mode wants it to naturally path through the melee so that Skylark can easily get threat on it. With the Taskmaster down and some Earthshapers that had been CC'd, plus a few Sappers still alive, Mandatory again wastes no time and heads straight into boss. This is extra challenging with these bonus enemies, especially as assigning any crowd control effects can be complicated by players being targeted by the Earth Rager's fixates. But Mandatory manage it flawlessly and are finished with the second boss at an incredible sub 15-minute pace. Mode takes this opportunity to replenish his mana, while Skylark grabs a huge trash pull, featuring one Mastermind to funnel arcane damage into, and a bunch of alchemists that need to be stopped before they can successfully transmute enemy to goo. Juggling crowd control effects while also avoiding the brainstorms and staying spread to minimize the damage from the Echo Blades is a very intricate dance, but they have so much damage on this pull that it's over before they run out of resources. The next pull starts out much smaller, affording them the opportunity to recover some cooldowns while they kill off the test subjects, before pulling the alchemists into a large set of enemies once more, and again dumping an arcane surge into a new Mastermind. This pattern of having always exactly one high health target for the Arcane Mage to deal with is part of the reason Mandatory are so fast, as it is incredibly efficient. Skylark again uses Shadow Meld to drop combat after pulling the double Mastermind pull to the side while the group sneaks past, and then they engage Rixa Fluxflame. They tag in a War Machine with this boss, adding a group healing challenge to a boss that's mostly tank damage, and helping make sure that they're getting some of the enemy forces count that they still need to finish the dungeon. Once Bloodlust is ready, they grab a second War Machine, while polymorphing the specialist that comes with it to avoid having extra bombardments to dodge. Once the boss goes down, Skylark heads up the hill, and Maystein taunts the War Machine to keep it with the rest of the group so they can finish it off. Meanwhile, Skylark has been running over all the mines he can find, while also grabbing another War Machine and several specialists, which they group up and AoE down mercilessly. They then head up the hill, pick up a few more mines to finish off their enemy forces, skip past the double War Machine pull with another Skylark side pull into Shadow Meld, and jump straight into the final boss. By fighting on the corner of this grate, they're in a spot that's generally safe from the micro missiles, and each person targeted by the homing missile always takes it right into the corner of the room, where its explosion will outrange the group. They're so quick they don't even make it to the next Bloodlust, and the boss goes down just after the 30-minute mark in the dungeon, with almost 3 full minutes to spare before the timer would have expired. This incredibly efficient run sets us up for an exciting MDI Global Finals, with Mandatory joining other powerhouse teams like Wunderbar in a fierce contest for the crown. Make sure you don't miss the action by tuning in to the MDI Global Finals starting on May 30th. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in Azeroth.